everyone, welcome back to Babywearing. We are now 2 months into being a family of 5, which feels very surreal to say. Life is starting to settle down and I can now reflect back on the newborn days and today share a few of the things that I found essential with this most recent baby. I made one of these videos way back when I first started my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, and a lot of the things have stayed the same, but there are also a few new extras to add in, and the things that have stayed the same, you'll know that they really are tried and tested. They're things that I absolutely love to use. Lots of places on the internet will tell you that you need loads of stuff for having a baby, that you need a fancy pushchair and a baby bath and seats and bells and whistles. I promise you don't need much at all. You might find that some of those things fit in with your lifestyle, but lots of them will just be unnecessary, and it's definitely better to err on the side of buying less to begin with, and you can always buy things when baby comes along and you realise you need a particular item for a particular situation. It's also worth bearing in mind that baby items are particularly suited to buying secondhand, precisely because a lot of people find that they don't use them as much as they thought they would. So don't buy anything new in terms of clothing, it's just not worth it. Okay, with that said, let's dive into my list of newborn essentials. Let's start with sleeping. I think sleeping is obviously one of the things that we care most about with newborn babies. They tend not to sleep by themselves, so be prepared for that if you haven't had a baby yet. I will say that it's worth not spending a lot on your baby's bed. We have always just had a secondhand Moses basket that a friend passed on to us for free. Moses baskets are incredibly easy to find secondhand. Definitely don't buy a new one. You can find them secondhand often for like £10 or £15, even less sometimes. Or like I said, you can just find a friend who's passing one on and then it's free. The reason I say don't spend a lot on the baby's bed is because chances are they won't actually spend a lot of time sleeping in it, at least for the first couple of months. Newborns are designed to want to be with their mum, so if your baby's not sleeping in a bed, don't be afraid. They will eventually get there, but for the first couple of months they just want to be with you, and that is absolutely fine and normal. Look up safe co-sleeping guidelines if that's what you would like to do, or keep the Moses basket really close next to your bed so that you can just lift them in and out really easily in the night. In terms of what I put them in for nighttime sleeping, for the first few weeks I find a muslin swaddle absolutely essential. This one is a lovely brand called Little Beacon, who screen prints their own muslins, which is just amazing. They're very beautiful but quite expensive. If you'd like a cheaper option that I find are just as nice, you can try Fabalab, I think that's how you pronounce it, or you can again look secondhand because these will often be things that are passed on, barely used. Just bear in mind that muslin swaddles are much bigger than muslin burp cloths. They're often, you know, a good metre square, so you do need that amount of fabric to swaddle them really well. And just look up on YouTube how to use them. There are loads of videos out there. I like the down up method, so Google that, you'll be able to find the method that I use. Another thing that I found absolutely essential for sleep, particularly when they want to start sleeping in their own bed, is a white noise machine. In fact, you might even be able to hear it upstairs right now. White noise reminds babies of being in the womb. It also helps to drown out any of the noises of the house that might wake them up. So if you're worried about your toddlers, for example, making loud noises and waking the baby, then I find white noise absolutely essential. You can use an old phone and just a white noise app, or if you need to, you can buy a white noise machine. Sadly, I've only found them on Amazon, so it's one thing that I have bought from Amazon in the last couple of years. They're often excellent, so just look for a highly rated one on there. And the other thing in a similar vein is a blackout blind. Babies love the dark. They were in the dark for 9 months, and it helps to prevent them from getting overstimulated or distracted while you're trying to get them to sleep. So I definitely like a completely blacked out room, and I found that a simple blackout blind, whether that's the grow blind or just a piece of blackout fabric, work an absolute treat for helping them sleep in their little bed. Once little one gets a bit older, I love to use a sleeping bag at night time because there's no risk of them pulling a blanket up over their face. I really like this brand called Pure Earth for sleeping bags. bags because they are completely free of polyester. Lots of mainstream brands of sleeping bag will have polyester stuffing, which is totally fine. It's just plastic and not as breathable as natural fibres. So the Pure Earth ones are stuffed with bamboo, which I really like. This is actually a toddler size because our baby size is in the wash, but I thought I'd show you. They also have the hole between the legs, so if you want to put them in the car seat or in the pushchair, you can do that. So I find that a really lovely feature. They are expensive, so again, look secondhand or look for another kind of brand secondhand as well. Like I say, it doesn't really matter if they have polyester in, it's just a personal preference. I couldn't do a newborn essentials video without mentioning baby wearing, especially if you are on your second or later child. Baby wearing is an absolute must for me. Like I said, in the first few weeks up to even a couple of months, they just want to be with you all the time. So having a good fitted, comfortable sling is really essential for just living life and staying on top of things and being able to look after your other children. I have always loved close parent slings. I used Kaboo Light with Margot, and in fact I used one with Clem as well. It was the first sling I ever used. I do find for the early days that a stretchy sling is the best for a newborn. There's something about the softness and the sort of bounciness of it that really helps them to feel secure and helps them to sleep in particular. I would say for the early days, do go for a stretchy, soft carrier like this rather than one of the more structured ones. I do like both, and I have structured ones that we're now moving more towards because he's getting a little older, but something like this is wonderful for the early days. And in fact, the Kaboo is particularly good because it's great for the early days, but then also has the strength and flexibility to be able to go up to larger sizes. So I think this works up until 14.5 kilos, so would even still work for my 4-year-old. If you don't know them, they look like this. It's just a crossover piece which you put on like a jumper, and then you wrap a longer piece around the middle. It's much more straightforward than getting to grips with a just long piece of stretchy fabric. You can put it on with one hand, so you can hold your baby with one hand and then put it on like this over with your other hand, which I find is wonderful because it means I don't actually need to put Jessie down when I need to put it on. So if you're in a cafe where there's like no surface to put your baby on, then being able to do it one-handed is essential. There are other slings that I'm loving at the moment, and I will happily again do a video on baby wearing and the different slings that I have and what I prefer them for. So yeah, again, do let me know if that's something you'd like to see. I couldn't do a newborn essentials video without mentioning cloth nappies. I'd be really happy to do a full video on the newborn nappies that I've been enjoying this time round, because there are some new ones to the market that I would like to talk about, but I want to know if that's interesting to you. So if it is, drop me a comment down below and I will see what I can do if there are enough people who want to see that. I will mention one brand which for me has been the standout this time round, and that is Fia. They make the most beautiful little newborn wraps that work from really tiny yet still have a lot of growing room. So we're still on the smallest rise in these, and he's now I think about 12 or 13 pounds and 2.5 months old. So there's a lot of longevity in these if you're worried about buying newborn nappies and them not lasting very long. In terms of what we're stuffing them with, buttons flats are still my favourites. I've mentioned these time and again. They look like this. Well, they fold out to bigger, but they're bird's eye cotton flats, and there are other brands that do them, including Brightbots, I think. We're also loving Thirsty's hemp pre-folds, still expensive, but worth it in my opinion. And then I have a whole load of other flat nappies that I'm just using that we had for our last baby. Those are still working fantastically. You don't need to spend a lot on newborn nappies. I think flat nappies are wonderful. There are also a few fitted nappies that I've been really enjoying, but like I say, if you would like me to go into detail on those, then do drop me a comment and I'll see what I can do. Someone recently asked me what my favourite cloth wipes are at the moment, and the answer is Bell's Bums. They look like this. This one's actually wet because it's just come out of our wipe supply, but they are a really good size. So some cloth wipes can go a bit sort of stiff and cardboardy, but I find these stay really soft and flexible, if that makes sense. They are also very pretty with their rainbow edging. So yes, current favourites, and if I were to buy more I would definitely buy these. In terms of going out and about, wet bags have obviously still been an essential for me. I'm still enjoying the same brands I've talked about in the past. So Fern are wonderful. I really like the Peachy Baby wet bags as well because they're a really good size and they're often on sale these days, so you can watch out for that. When I'm changing Jessie at home, we do have a Ollie Ella changing basket. This was definitely a sort of Instagram maybe buy it moment. That it's absolutely beautiful and I do love it. I think it's worked for us really well, particularly because I don't worry about him rolling off it because it's on top of a chest of drawers, and obviously if he rolled it would be quite bad. But because it's a basket with edges, there's something to stop him rolling off. Having said that, I should say I do always supervise him, so don't worry about that. However, when it comes to second or later babies, you will find that you need changing mats, changing stations all over the house, because often you just need to whip a new nappy on wherever your older children are. So as well as our nice basket in the nursery, I also use just travel changing mats all over the house. My favourite travel changing mat is the Pim Pam one. It looks like this, and I think they have 3 or 4 different prints. It's lovely and padded, which is wonderful if you need to use it on a hard floor, which may not happen at home but will almost certainly happen when you're out and about, because some bathrooms don't have a fold down changing station, so it can really help to have a nice padded one. These are GOTS certified, I believe, and really lovely prints, so definitely a favourite. Then in terms of creams and lotions and potions, my children have never really suffered too much with nappy rash, especially the later 2 who have been in cloth from birth, but you will occasionally find that they get a little bit of redness. If you are looking for a nice gentle cloth nappy safe cream, then the Weleda calendula cream is fantastic. I actually don't have any at the moment because my kids just aren't getting nappy rash, so that's good news, but that would be the one I recommend if you're looking for one. In terms of the rest of their skin, any gentle natural oil works totally fine. For a long time we used extra virgin coconut oil just in a big tub, so that works fantastically. And at the moment I'm using this, which is a blend of sweet almond, calendula and chamomile oils that my lovely friend Marta, who's on YouTube as Bottega Zero Waste, she made this for me and it is wonderful. So if you are into making your own cosmetics, then doing something like this infused with calendula and chamomile is a really lovely alternative. When it comes to clothes, like I said, do not spend any money on new clothes. It's not worth it. Either find someone local or a friend who's passing on baby clothes, or go on an app like Vinted or eBay and just buy a big old bundle of secondhand baby clothes. If you can find organic, then that's fantastic, but I really don't think it matters. Buying secondhand is always more sustainable than looking for a new sustainable fabric, so look for something secondhand and you can't go far wrong. In terms of things I've enjoyed for myself this time round, I will talk again about the Close breast pads because I think they are the best reusable breast pads out there. They now come in this fun little pack, which is super handy for taking them out and about. They are without a doubt the slimmest breast pads I've ever used. They are obviously reusable, so you can pop them in the wash after you've used them and you're not going through lots of disposables. They do have the stay dry layer underneath as well, so I find them really comfortable to wear and you can't notice them from the outside of your clothes, which is just excellent. So yes, definitely these are my top recommendation for breast pads. You might also remember that just before I had Jessie, I talked a little bit about my hospital bag. I was planning a home birth and I did end up having a home birth, but we had still packed a lot of things into a suitcase so that we knew where they were and they would all be in the right place if we needed to transfer to hospital. Out of those things, I mentioned that I was going to be trying reusable period pants for the first time postpartum, and they were wonderful. So I will mention them here. They obviously aren't quite a newborn essential, but nevertheless they are worth a mention because they were so comfortable. I felt really secure postpartum. I didn't have any leaks, which is just, you know, you need them to be reliable when you're feeling a little bit worse for wear after having a baby. So I said I would report back on how I got on with those, and the verdict is good. They were excellent. People often ask me for recommendations for a changing bag, and honestly I think you can use whatever you like as long as it's big enough to fit everything you need. You definitely don't need a special changing bag. Having said that, I absolutely love the one I have. It is designed to be a changing bag, but it doesn't look like one, which I really like. This is the Chaos Ransel backpack. I've had it for, gosh, maybe 2 years now, and it has held up really well. It's made of recycled materials, which I really like from a sustainability perspective, and it's not bulky, but it is really roomy, so I can fit everything I need to use cloth nappies when I'm out and about, but it doesn't feel kind of big and heavy and bulky when I'm wearing it. So that would be my recommendation there, and I do love it. I think that's everything that I wanted to share today. I've probably forgotten things that I love, but if you would like to know more about anything I've shared today, then do drop me a comment below, particularly if you'd like to see newborn nappies or anything on baby wearing. In the meantime, if you'd like to see more from me, then head over to Instagram or my blog, and if you want to see any future videos, then definitely hit the subscribe button down below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye!